in providing financing that is needed in taking the economies of Africa forward. And Honorable Speaker, it is important even for our country to have subscriptions in other, and to keep on actually adding the amount of shares and subscriptions they have in some of the regional development bodies, Honorable Speaker, and especially a body like a Proceedings, which has always come through for a country like Kenya. Honorable Speaker, another entity like ADB, African Development Bank, we have seen it take great part in the growth of the infrastructure in Kenya, and especially citing a road like Thika Road, Honorable Speaker, which was co-funded also by the African Development Bank. And Honorable Speaker, it goes to calling, and especially the leadership of the African countries, when we talk about the bodies like this, that actually addresses the same issues that we are grappling with as the economies in the global south and especially in the African continent, that we keep on just not giving the lip service, but the necessary support needed to grow the capitalization of these companies, to grow the core capital, to grow the shareholders' funds, so that these resources again can come back to the African continent in terms of funding critical infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, it is also important for these kind of bodies to also place merit when, and especially they are having the people who lead them, so that there is versatility also in terms of growth. Because many times we see the leadership of these bodies and these institutions, we focus more on the region in terms of where they are coming from in the African continent. And Honorable Speaker, we don't give enough emphasis on the competencies of the people and especially who come at the helm of leading these organizations. Honorable Speaker, as I come to the close, we have seen in many countries and in many continents. Honorable Speaker, it's not a coincidence when we talk about the growth in the Asian tigers, and especially also across Asia. It is not a coincidence that one economy grows and the other neighboring economies also follow suit. It is not a coincidence that you find countries that are geographically located around one another, that when one of them leaps forward, the others also follow suit. It is deliberate, and some of them is actually catapulted, Honorable Speaker, by the regional banks which provide resources, both to the sovereign and also to the private sector, and especially in big-ticket private sector financing requirements. When you look at a country like China, for example, also, Honorable Speaker, beyond the normal commercial banks, we also have development banks owned by the government of China. This is almost similar bodies as the one we are discussing today, which mandate of these development banks, Honorable Speaker, comes into providing finances that most of the time the commercial banks will necessarily not afford, because they are able, out of their abundance of the core capital, they are able to fund huge ticket projects, both in the public sector and the private sector, and that goes a long way into growing economies. Honorable Speaker, I also want to call upon all of us, even as Kenya, to also look at models of economic growth. For example, for a country like Nigeria. Honorable Speaker, in the entire of Africa, Nigeria could be having the highest per capita concentration of black billionaires. Billionaires who are African and who are black. But Honorable Speaker, if you look at how these entrepreneurs grew, people like Aliko Dangote, the entrepreneurs in Globacom, like for example in Nigeria, entrepreneurs, the founders of UBA Bank, Access Bank, you will always find, including BUA Group, which spans across many sectors. You find that there is a lot of involvement of regional financing bodies, and especially precisely Proceedings. Proceedings has come a long way into actually shaping entrepreneurship in Nigeria, where we see big ticket private sector projects being financed even by these kind of financial institutions. And that is why it is important for Kenya to have subscriptions, but also for us to look inwards that the private people, the private entrepreneurs, and especially those who are launching huge projects, they find avenues of also getting not so exorbitantly priced financing from these kind of bodies, because we have seen it work, as I have said, in areas and regions like Asia. We have seen it work in countries as robustly entrepreneurial as China, and we have also seen how the economy of a country like Nigeria has gotten transformed out of the financing from bodies like Afrexim, ADB, Honorable Speaker, African Finance Corporation, Honorable Speaker, and many of such. And that is why even subscription and also additional capital for Kenya into bodies like Shelter Afrique is important, because they go into bridging infrastructure gaps that exist. Honorable Speaker, lastly, because we are discussing about financing, I know the Speaker gave a way forward in terms of what Kenyans woke up today in terms of the sale of Safaricom. And I'm putting it in here because, Honorable Speaker, a company like such, we have seen them actually funded by these kind of bodies like you are discussing today. And I'm happy the Speaker has already given a way forward that we need a robust public participation on the sale of Safaricom, because the way we are selling it at 34 shillings per share is grossly undervalued, and especially given the fact that Safaricom share was at 45 shillings in 2021 at a valuation of 1.8 trillion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, and it will be a gross injustice to the Kenyan people when the National Treasury and government undersells such a priced asset as Safaricom, Honorable Speaker, and goes even away further of trying to securitize dividends that will be coming at future revenue from Safaricom. That beyond the consideration, the government is actually asking for dividend in advance. Kenya will exist now, Kenya will exist in the next 2 years, Kenya will exist in the next 5 years. We must stop this issue of wanting political clubs today by securitizing future revenue, because Kenya is a going concern. We will still need these revenues in the future, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, that is why the entire deal of selling 15% stake in Safaricom that GeoKeng is trying to do must be looked into further, and especially valuation, because the current level is grossly undervaluing Safaricom, and this cannot be tolerated. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Mary Adan Kenan, are you on this one also? Because I can see your name on the screen. Who else is interested in this? The issue for Shelter Afrique. Okay, under the circumstances, I'll call on the mover to reply.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to beg to move this motion by first of all thanking all the members who showed interest in making contribution to this particular motion, appreciating the fact that Kenya and Africa has matured enough to rise and to begin to have a discussion on the financial architecture of development, starting from the Shelter Afrique that is focusing on housing, which is a critical focus on our urban cities, on our cities, and on the growth and the needs of our people. On behalf of the committee also, allow me to thank the stakeholders that were able to come forward and make substantive, informative contribution. And out of what they made their proposal is what has informed this report, to indicate that Kenyans are ready for this dimension, where we will have an institution that Kenya is a stakeholder, Kenya is the owner, Kenya is a decision maker, that even the governance of this particular financial institution will come.
To undertake an environmental impact assessment on its training grounds, and thereafter NEMA to conduct an environmental audit in line with Environmental Management and Coordination Act Cap 387. 13, development of a wildlife displacement and damage report for areas affected by Batuk training with the policy recommendations for mitigation and restitution. authorization of a written range safety and ordnance clearance standard operating procedure requiring 100% accounting of expended munitions, UX source clearances within 2 weeks after each exercise, publication of clearance completion reports with the local authorities, and adoption of multi-agency emergency response plans supporting nearby health facilities and first responders. Honorable Speaker, we also made a recommendation on the issue of the DCA, that is the Defense Cooperation Agreement, that right now the status of that agreement certainly is in limbo, and that is what has guided the presence of the Batuk and membership here. Batuk presence here in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I just want to elaborate a few on the issue of the DCA, the Defense Cooperation Agreement between Kenya and the UK. In 2015, the UK and Kenya signed a Defense Cooperation Agreement, DCA, to strengthen defense ties and address common security challenges. This agreement was entered into force on 11th October 2016, and pursuant to Article 26(2) of the agreement, remained in effect for a period of 5 years. On 27 July 2021, Kenya and UK signed another DCA, which replaced a previous DCA signed in 2015 and expired on 6 October 2021. Pursuant to the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, the agreement was submitted to the National Assembly on 6 September 2021 for ratification. However, the agreement was not concluded by the end of the term of the 12th Parliament. The agreement was submitted on 22nd November 2022, and after consideration, the Development Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations recommended approval of the agreement with the two main reservations. A, Article 6(5) of the agreement should be amended by inserting a new paragraph immediately after paragraph H to include murder as one of the offenses which are under the jurisdiction of the host nation. B, and Article 23 of the agreement to include corporate social responsibility. This report was tabled in the House on 21st March 2023 and was thereafter debated and adopted by the House on 13th April 2023, thereby approving the ratification of the DCA to unresolved issues that arise between the UK and Kenya after the National Assembly approved ratification with aforementioned reservations. Therefore, the 2015 DCA expired in 2021, while the 2021 DCA is yet to be ratified. This therefore raises a legal issue as to the legal framework under which Batuk is training and operating here in Kenya. An analysis of the 2015 DCA reveals that Article 26(5) provided for a savings provision for relating to jurisdiction, civil claims, and liabilities, the protection of information, and the financial arrangement between the parties for as long as necessary. However, the agreement is ambiguous as to whether these savings provisions provide a lifeline for the entire expired provisions. On matters now of DCA, it's therefore crucial that the legal status of the DCA between the UK and Kenya is swiftly resolved. Honorable Speaker, on the issues that, and I've seen it somehow on social media, we have something to do with Batuk's non-cooperation with the Development Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations. Throughout the inquiry, Honorable Speaker, the committee faced considerable obstacles in securing cooperation from Batuk. Despite multiple correspondences, Batuk reported a pattern of unresponsiveness and evasion, frustrating the committee's constitutional mandate to establish the facts surrounding serious allegations made by citizens. Batuk consistently invoked immunity, citing provisions of the DCA, and evading direct engagement with the committee. Instead, Batuk channeled its communication to the committee through the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs and the Ministry of Defense, thereby undermining the inquiry. After months of non-responsiveness, Batuk ultimately responded via an undated written memorandum transmitted through the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. The response comprised unsigned submissions presented without an official letterhead, lacking any authentication or attribution to Batuk or any competent authority legally mandated to speak on his behalf. This response fell short of the standards of official government-to-government or institutional communication and demonstrates total disregard for the authority of this House. The manner in which Batuk engaged the committee reflects not only institutional content, but also a broader disregard for the sovereignty of the people of Kenya, whose will is expressed through Parliament. The dismissive attitude of Batuk sets a dangerous precedent that undermines Kenya's legislative authority, public accountability, and the rights of affected communities. Honorable Speaker, and the committee actually documented 94 pages of report with annexures that have been tabled in this House. While we recognize the fact that Batuk, in one way or the other, contributes both to the economy and the training of our soldiers and their soldiers as well, but the misconduct and the misbehavior also outweigh some of the advantages that they have brought to this country. Notwithstanding, and I know that now we have a DCA that is in limbo. So the legal status of that DCA also needs to be looked into so that we know where both countries stand at this point in time. It's important that the executive also resolves that matter of the DCA so that we are not having a situation whereby a foreign force is here in the country and without any legal backing. Honorable Speaker, and with those a few remarks, I beg to move and urge the House to adopt this report. I now call upon Honorable Martha Wangare to second this motion. I thank you.
Thank you.
Second, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to second this motion ably moved by the Vice Chair of our committee. And Mr. Speaker, right from the start, I would like to say that this report is not an easy matter, Mr. Speaker. We have gone to the ground for the last 6 months. We have gone and conducted hearings. 94 pages have actually been presented to this House, Mr. Speaker. And let me also make it clear that it is not anti-cooperation. This report is pro-accountability, Mr. Speaker. We are not saying that the cooperation should be ended, but we are saying it must be accountable to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the issues that have been raised in this report are weighty, and I feel like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I will say this here because I've seen the PS comment on Twitter about this report, and actually Batuk has also, and the British Commission has also put something on Twitter, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate and contemptuous to this House to actually comment on a report when we have not even tabled, we have not even moved it on the floor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that has demonstrated what you have seen, the opaqueness in which these matters have been dealt with, tiptoeing around it. And Mr. Speaker, we took a lot of time to listen to stakeholders, state and non-state actors, Mr. Speaker. We listened to everyone who was invited in that public notice, Mr. Speaker. We listened to victims, survivors of GBV, families of fallen victims, Mr. Speaker, including Agnes Wanjiru's. Mr. Speaker, we listened to ex-Mau Mau veterans, we listened to ODPP, we listened to the DCI, we listened to the National Police Service, we listened to FIDA, we listened to the Human Commission on Human Rights, National Commission on Human Rights, and many others, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues that are raised here are weighty, and we have seen a lot of bias in terms of how they have been addressed. One, Mr. Speaker, Batuk has been clearly avoiding engaging with the committee. And Mr. Speaker, Article 1, read together with Article 125 of the Constitution, gives this House the powers to summon anyone of importance, Mr. Speaker. So to see them respond in the media that they were not given that chance is not only true, it is a misrepresentation of facts, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of these issues are touching on lives of Kenyans. I will pick just the death of Agnes Wanjiru, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the DCA, or what we call the Defense Cooperation Act, exempts even issues of murder from being dealt in this country, Mr. Speaker. Because how can you be accused of killing a 21-year-old woman and you're shipped out to the UK with no responsibility? It's only recently you have been told it will be done, Mr. Speaker. But even today, that suspect, one Mr. Robert James Pakis, has still not been prosecuted, Mr. Speaker. We have explored how the Batuk deals with other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker. One case is how one Canadian was killed in Canada by a British soldier. It has also happened in Japan. They were prosecuted in those countries, Mr. Speaker. If you kill someone in Kenya, you are under the law of this country, Mr. Speaker. You cannot use the issue of immunity to escape justice and to escape a criminal responsibility. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we have recommended, first of all, the DCA must be amended, Mr. Speaker. The issues that have been exempted, Article one paragraph that we said in the reservations as we considered in the committee, Mr. Speaker, we said that the agreement must include murder as one of the offenses which are under the jurisdiction of the host nation. Mr. Speaker, that is not optional. And the fact that we continue to operate like like this House spoke in vanity and in futility, Mr. Speaker, it is actually stepping on the sovereignty of our country and of our people, Mr. Speaker. I know there have been arguments, and we listened even on the ground, and some leaders were able to join us in Laikipia and Samburu, that actually say that they are doing so much in the community. We do not disagree, Mr. Speaker. But this tokenism cannot be able to cover responsibility, transparency, and accountability of the actions of the Batuk soldiers. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the children born out of these relations they have with the Samburu, Maasai women, and the local women, Mr. Speaker, whether consensual or otherwise, it is not optional to take care of those children, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, any time the issue of DNA was raised, they actually rejected and resisted any DNA testing, Mr. Speaker, because then it would make us now lift the veil on rape accusations, and even if it is consensual, Mr. Speaker, the rights of a child under the Constitution cannot be ignored, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these soldiers in their country do not run away from their parental responsibility, but because there is no clear channels here, they get away with so much. And Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated, if a committee of this House, which has the mandate of the people, has struggled to get communication from the Batuk, then tell me how a hapless woman out there will be able to lodge a complaint, or the family of Agnes Wanjiru will be able to get a clear channel of communication from the Batuk. So, Mr. Speaker, this is only just a few of the issues that have been brought to fore. Mr. Speaker, the death of Tilam Leresh, still not investigated, Mr. Speaker. There was a formal inquest on this death, number 2 of 2014, and a soldier, Sergeant Madison, was actually directed to be charged for the death of this herder, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of environmental degradation, even NEMA getting a chance to engage with Batuk is a problem. NEMA is an institution that represents this country, Mr. Speaker. They are not able to get into it. And Mr. Speaker, this inquiry did not spring from nowhere. It sprang out from the TJRC report that actually enumerated sexual offenses that have been committed, enumerated the environmental degradation, and more importantly, when we were discussing the DCA, Mr. Speaker, the county government of Laikipia made a submission, and they spoke to the same issues, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we felt we will not just sweep it under the carpet. We will go to the ground and be able to listen, Mr. Speaker, because even the ordinance disposal, Mr. Speaker, it is not being guided by the law. There are water bodies near the area where the Batuk operate, Mr. Speaker, and they have the people there, the community there, Mr. Speaker, have actually complained of many increased respiratory diseases. Women there have complained of miscarriages, Mr. Speaker, because of the water they are drinking, the disposal, waste disposal in the rivers, Mr. Speaker, and that is an issue that must be considered, and we must be able to get to the end of it. Mr. Speaker, these ethical breaches, these human rights violations, this environmental degradation, these labor concerns, because, Mr. Speaker, we have workers there, even if they say they have employed locals, which is not a favor, Mr. Speaker, who have been acting there as casuals for 17 years. And if you raise questions, you are fired, Mr. Speaker. So these are some of the issues that we have been able to unearth using this inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, therefore, the submissions and the recommendations that we have been able to make, including the changes in the law, Mr. Speaker, it's something that this House must consider. And we are saying again, it is pro-accountability, not anti-cooperation. Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that I would speak to is the issue of the DCI, because we said the DCI should investigate the alleged case of sexual offenses by Batuk soldiers, including historical documented cases, because they are there, Mr. Speaker. If you read the TJRC report, you'll be able to see over 2,000 documented, and those are the ones that have been reported. Mr. Speaker, we have the issue of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and when I see the PS make careless comments, Mr. Speaker, I wish they could actually focus on what we would need to do for this country, Mr. Speaker. The MFA should initiate negotiation with the UK government, and within 3 months after the adoption of this report by the House, do restorative justice measures, including compensation. And Mr. Speaker, we have had courts pronounce themselves in terms of people who have suffered injury, Mr. Speaker. They award 7 million, but who pays 100,000? But who are they answerable to? They have actually acted like they are above the law. And Mr. Speaker, it is time this House puts its foot down, because we have sovereign power donated to us by the people to actually protect our people. And that is where we should focus, Mr. Speaker, as we review this operation, Mr. Speaker. Because my time is up, Mr. Speaker, allow me to end it there, and I second.
Are you on a point of order? It has to be proposed first before. Honorable Hassan, this is your 4th term in Parliament. Honorable members, we now propose the question. The mic is there, unless it is not working. Is it working? Okay. Honorable members, we now propose a question. That this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, Batuk, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 25th of November, the year 2025. Madam Mili Odhiambo, and followed by Honorable Kenan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of that committee. And as a member, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I've actually run out of class to come and speak to this issue. The first time I heard of Archer's post was in 1997, when my office then, or my employer then, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, undertook a fact-finding mission on the issues of Batuk. Mr. Speaker, what happened then is that the same allegations that are being raised now were being raised in 1997. And as a matter of fact, there was a British lawyer who took up this matter on behalf of the women who were complaining then, and went to the UK, but unfortunately they lost the case because of course, challenges to do with the distance, evidence, and all that. But Mr. Speaker, what I can say for a fact is this. Number one, that if you go there right now, where Batuk is, there are many colored children, and they did not appear there by osmosis. When you have colored children, it means a black person and a white person, other child. And they are not, it's not occasional. There are very many, and they are now adults. And Mr. Speaker, they were either born of rape or consensual sex. If they were born of rape, the people who raped their mothers should be held accountable. If it was consensual sex, then the fathers must take responsibility according to Article 53 of the Constitution of Kenya, that recognizes even children born out of wedlock. Even in the UK itself, you actually have fathers taking care of their own children. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans have accused this parliament of abdicating its oversight role. And I'd want to challenge Kenyans to listen that this is one case where we are actually following and dealing with the oversight role properly. Mr. Speaker, if you listen to what the PS for Foreign Affairs has spoken about today, it is more sympathetic to the Batuk. As Parliament, we will not be sympathetic to Batuk. We will look at the human rights of our own people. And Mr. Speaker, that does not mean that we do not like the British. The British themselves are protective of their own citizens. And it is embarrassing for us as Kenyans that would allow people on a friendly basis to come to our soil and then violate the human rights of our women, of our children, of our environment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, I first heard of this is 1997. This now, we are in the year 2024. I don't know how many years those are. And Mr. Speaker, it is for this House to deal with those issues conclusively, so that we don't have not only the British, but any other foreign agency that comes into this country must respect the laws of the country. You can see what America has actually said very recently in regard to Somalis in the US, which is a very unfortunate comment. And I saw the representative there responding fairly well, because America has been known for their democratic ideals. So actually, when you actually single out a community for discrimination, it is wrong. But you can see that what they are trying to do is to protect their citizens at home. But in the same vein, Kenya must protect its own citizens at home. We can't be saying that because we are being given XYZ, that then we put a blind eye to what is going on in our own country. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy and proud that I sponsored the Treaty Making and Ratification Act for reasons such as this, so that when there are treaties that are being done or made in this country or being ratified, Parliament must have a say. So I would want to urge that let them bring that treaty, that agreement, and let us make sure that issues of human rights protection, issues of protection of our environment, issues of injury from the trainings that are going on are very well taken care of, and that Kenyans are not taken advantage of. Mr. Speaker, I can see that my time is up, but I want to say that I'm fully in support. This committee did undertake over 1 year of research work, of consultative work, and I want to confirm that we didn't
with the voice of the widowed mother, the
comments
and privatization, to be able to consider that before the two committees.
Chepkonga, or yes, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Gishimu,
Honorable Speaker.
you don't like, you just listen until a member finishes what they're saying. Yes, Gikari, what is it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to indulge you on a statement that I was supposed to deliver as you are directed on Tuesday.
We'll come to statements later.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
sorry, Honorable Speaker.
we'll come to statements later. Let me start with the youngest of them all, Boyd Were. You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Since I will not want to interrupt you, obey the rules and spend 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Let me state that I'm deeply honored and privileged to be part of this great house. Today, I rise not with the pride of victory, but with the solemn weight of destiny. I stand before you as the youngest member of Parliament, a son of Kasipul, whose journey has been shaped by pain, promise, and profound responsibility. My election is not just a triumph of youth. It is a testament of the resilience of our people, the power of democracy, and the belief that leadership belongs to those who willing to serve with integrity and courage. Honorable Speaker, this victory carries both joy and unbearable sorrow. I stand here with 2 fresh graves behind me. My father, who paid the ultimate price for public service, and Baba, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, whose guidance I longed for as I began this journey. Today, I walk forward holding only their memories. May the soil rest lightly upon them, and may their spirits go before me with the fierce grace of ancestors who never bowed to fear. To the Almighty God, I offer my deepest gratitude. His hand has carried me through mourning, through battle, through a campaign that tested every fiber of my being. May my service reflect his wisdom, humility, and justice. Honorable Speaker, I am nothing without those who stood with me. To our party leader, Honorable Dr. Oburu Oginga, your steady hand anchored me when the ground beneath my feet felt uncertain. To the loyal friends of Ogai Mamilambo, led by our ODM chair, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, you believed in a young, grieving orphan when many had written me off. You wrapped me in courage, loyalty, and a shield of protection when grief and duty collided. I will forever be indebted. I extend heartfelt appreciation to the broad-based fraternity, our members of parliament, MCAs, for standing firmly with me and with the people of Kasipul. To the many leaders, friends, and pillars of strength whose names cannot all be mentioned today, please know that I am profoundly indebted. To my family, thank you for your love, sacrifice, and strength. Honorable Speaker, I rise on the shoulders of generations before me, but I also rise carrying the fire of a new generation that refuses to be silent. Gen Z is rising, grateful for the government's commitment to growing our GDP and strengthening our economy, yet yearning for something deeper. A Kenya where national progress is measured not only in numbers, but in human dignity. We dream of a country where every young person can access decent work, earn a fair income, and support their family with pride. We seek accountability, transparency, and zero tolerance to corruption. A Kenya where public institutions are trusted, where integrity is non-negotiable, and where justice is not a privilege but a right. We long for a nation where opportunity is fair, governance is humane, the environment is protected, and where success is guided by a gross happiness index. A society where citizens are not only economically active, but emotionally safe, socially supported, and able to breathe freely in their own country. This is the Kenya Gen Z believes in. This is the Kenya we are ready to build. Honorable Speaker, my father was not simply taken by fate. He was killed. And as a son, I stand here with a heart that still seeks answers. Honorable Speaker, when my father was taken from us, the wound cut deep. But that was not the first grave I learned to stand beside. I lost my mother, the late Immaculate Adhiambo Amoth, long time before I became the man I am today. I grew up knowing the weight of absence, the ache of needing a parent who is no longer there to guide you, to pray for you, to dream for you. And yet, Honorable Speaker, here I stand, the orphan they thought will break, the boy they expected to fade quietly into grief, but I rise today, carrying their names on my shoulders and their strength in my bones. To my late mother, your son did it. Even when they killed our father, your son still stood. Your son still fought. Your son kept going. I hope today, wherever you rest, you feel proud of the man I'm becoming and the service I'm stepping into. I long for truth, for closure, and for justice. Not the justice of retaliation, but the justice that restores dignity, honors life, and heals broken communities. I seek no revenge. Revenge cannot raise the dead, cannot comfort a grieving family, and cannot build a nation. Instead, I seek healing, reconciliation, and an end to the cycles of violence that have stolen too many fathers, mothers, and children from this country. Today, I honor not only my father, but all those who lost their lives in the violence witnessed during the campaigns. Their memories must strengthen our resolve to
Give him 1 minute.
to build a Kenya where no family loses a loved one because of politics, and where elections never again leave empty chairs at dinner tables. May their memories become seeds of peace, not bitterness. The levels of violence we witnessed where even an honorable member of parliament like Honorable Peter Kaluma was attacked on voting day clearly shows that we must act and act urgently. I thank him for standing with me throughout the campaigns and for standing firmly for democracy during its most trying hour. I invite Kenyans, the government, faith leaders, civil society, and our international partners to work with me on this journey of healing. Let us build a country where political competition never again demands human blood, where democracy is defended by ideas, not intimidation, and where every family, regardless of tribe or party, can live without fear. To the people of Kasipul, I am fully aware of the immense responsibility you have placed upon my shoulders. I promise to be the voice of the widowed mother, the struggling youth, the farmer tending hope in hard soil, and the child yearning for opportunity. I recognize the work before us. I know the urgency of electricity, clean water, modern road networks, and sustained development. These are not ambitions, they are necessities, the foundation upon which dignity and progress stand. Together, we shall walk a transformative journey, one that will redefine Kasipul, a journey where our constituency will no longer be associated with violence, but celebrated as a hub of development, a center of peaceful coexistence, and a thriving economy driven by unity and purpose. Mr. Honorable Speaker, this is not just my assignment, it's a covenant with my people, with my generation, and with the ancestors who walked before us. God bless Kasipul, God bless Kenya. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Njeru Leo Wamuthende.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand here humbled, deeply honored to have been elected as a Member of Parliament for Mbeere North. It was not easy, and I thank God for the opportunity to serve the people of Mbeere North. He stood with me and actually defended my win and therefore the will of the people of Mbeere North. I thank my family, starting with my wife, who stood with me and by my side throughout the campaigns. She stood before women and told them they can have me, and I'm so happy that I came back to her in one piece and unscathed. I thank the President of the Republic of Kenya for his exemplary leadership, and that inspires people like me to get out of our comfort zones to join him in leadership. I thank the Deputy President who came and brought fire to Mbeere North. And by the time he was done, Bwekse was actually a greeting in Mbeere North, and it still is today. I thank Cecily Mbarire, Her Excellency, the Governor of Embu County, who worked with me throughout the journey and even led the opposition to call me a medicine she's carrying around in Mbeere. And I accepted to be that medicine, but not, and for the problems of Mbeere North. I want to, who was a member in this house, who you know served well with distinction. He actually made it very easy for me to sail through because of the good things he had done for Mbeere people and the way he performed in this parliament. To the people of Mbeere North, I thank you. I'm deeply honored. And I say, I made pledges, I made promises. I will stay focused in leading you to achieving the goals we set together. One being the bursaries, which are as we agreed, will be equitably distributed. The free day secondary school, fighting for our roads, as I did this morning when I visited the Director General for Kera. And legislation, as you can see, I'm here today, ready to serve you and oversight even the national government CDF. I will be a good steward and ensure that every shilling is spent well to your benefit. I want to appreciate the people of Mbeere North again for sustaining a good campaign period, despite provocation by opponents who came and left a trail of insults and injuries. But I say we stood firm, and I stand here today as a testament of a peaceful people who are ready to be served and who are ready to stay within government. To my colleagues in this honorable house, I promise to work with you. I promise to be a good member, to contribute to debates. And as we break, I want to wish you all good holidays with your families, even as we take a rest and come back ready to serve our people. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that my campaigns were not easy. In fact, if you noticed, a man who served in your seat was filmed while almost decapitating a young man. I want to say, in as much as we have opposition and we differ. I want to say it's good to apply restraint, especially for members of this House. We are called honorable members, and I want to say, as a man who witnessed that before elections and post-election, post my election, I will stand firm to ensure that that doesn't happen, that does not happen to my people. I thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, and I promise to serve my people and fulfill the promises I made, which were many, so that all who voted for me and those who even didn't vote for me find fairness in my leadership. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Amudende. That man you are referring to was not only my classmate, but also roommate. And I have absolutely nothing with what he did. Omondi Moses Okoth.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise with deep gratitude to the people of Ugunja for entrusting me with their mandate in the recently concluded by-election, which were conducted in a peaceful and democratic manner. Their confidence in me is both humbling and inspiring. And their confidence also has also taught me a lesson of resilience and inclusivity. Mr. Speaker, I also want to extend my appreciation to my opponents, who are 9 in total. Their participation enriched the democratic process and ensured that the campaigns were vibrant, competitive, and reflective of the will of the people. Mr. Speaker, our Constitution envisaged dialogue, collaboration, coalitions as instruments of unity. The broad-based coalition that brought together my party, ODM, and our president exemplifies this vision. It steered our republic away from the moments of uncertainty and reset the path toward peace and stability, paving way for the transformative development across the country. Mr. Speaker, in Ugunja, we are already witnessing tangible progress. I must mention to this House that the President recently, a few months ago, was in Ugunja and launched a mega water project that is serving the 2 constituencies. The project is known as Ukwala Sega Water and Sanitation Project, which has really brought a lot of changes because, as you're aware, water is really a basic utility or commodity. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here today, there are quite a number of projects that have been earmarked by the national government for implementation. There is the currently ongoing construction of a modern market in Sidindi Market. We also have a road known as Sidindi, Sigomre, Masiro, which has equally been earmarked for tarmacking, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as the member of Parliament for Ugunja, I have no reservation whatsoever to support this government, known as the broad-based government. Mr. Speaker, these initiatives, I'm sure that they will spur economic growth, enhance accessibility, and uplift the livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, the broad-based government also elevated my former boss, the CS for Energy and Petroleum, Opio Wandai, who was a dedicated, development-oriented leader to national responsibilities in clean and sustainable energy programs. His example sets a standard for me, and I'm determined to uphold and build upon that legacy in Ugunja. For records, members, Omondi, who is now before you, has been the manager for constituency since 2013. And that has given me leverage on development agenda. So, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I pledge not to disappoint the people of Ugunja. My mission is to shape a vision that promotes continuous development, strengthen my oversight and administrative roles, and ensures that the sustainable development goals are localized, are realized within our constituency. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Omondi. Ndakwa David Athman, Malava.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise today with deep humility and profound gratitude to deliver my maiden speech in this august house. I thank the Almighty God for granting me the opportunity and the privilege in this august house. Mr. Speaker, I also have to honor to be standing here as a representative of the Malava constituency. I extend my sincere appreciation to the voters of Malava constituency from all wards, mentioning West Kabras, East Kabras, South Kabras, Chimuche, Shiruku Mugai, Manda Shivanga, and Putali Chekulo. Mr. Speaker, I am deeply honored by their confidence, and I commit myself to serving with integrity, intelligence, and unwavering dedication. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like also to acknowledge the County Assembly of Kakamega led by Speaker Namazi James, where I have served as a member of the County Assembly for West Kabras and also as a leader of minority for 8 years. Mr. Speaker, I also acknowledge my family who has given me the support, my party leader, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Speaker of the National Assembly who is dedicated, Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, Prime Cabinet Secretary, who has been a mentor to me all through, and the entire leadership of the party, UDA, my campaign team, and also the entire broad-based government whose sacrifices made this journey possible. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also want to acknowledge my predecessors, Weranga Imasinde, Buruti Nabwera, Joshua Angatia, Soida Shitanda, Malulu Injendi, may his God rest soul in eternal peace, who served this constituency before me, and I recognize their contribution, and I pledged to build upon their foundation that they laid. Honorable members, I stand here not merely as an individual, but as a voice for the aspiration and struggles that we go through and hopes of the people of Malava constituency who have elected me. My constituency faces challenges that require urgent and collective actions. Among them is poor facility in education, impassable roads, struggling agriculture, especially in the sugar sector, lack of electricity, and poor health facilities, lack of piped water, unemployment among the youth, an empowered, vulnerable group of women and people living with disabilities, among others. It is my firm commitment, Mr. Speaker, sir, to champion legislation, policies and development initiatives that uplift the living standards of our people and contribute to the prosperity of this nation. My vision, Mr. Speaker, is anchored in transparency, accountability, and service delivery. I affirm my commitment to be a servant leader to the people of Malava, and I promise to remain accessible to my constituency, to uphold the dignity of this house, and work tirelessly for the unity and progress of our beloved nation. I pledge to approach my duties with humility, to listen more, to learn from those who walked this path before me in performing these duties of legislation, oversight, and representation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank you, honorable members. I thank the people of Malava for having elected me, and may God bless Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members for Mbeere North, Malava, Ugunja, and Kasipul for your maiden statements in the House. Next, when we resume, you'll now be at liberty to participate in any and every debate in the House, subject to your relevance. And at that time, you are also open to points of order and any other interruptions that your members, colleagues may wish, if and when they feel you have gone the wrong way. And I wish you a good journey in the politics of this House. I was at where you are in 1992 in this House. As I wish you a long, fruitful journey. When all of you came to see me, I told you in this House, identify people who can mentor you. We have seniors here who can mentor you, who can assist you in getting to know the standing orders. Don't pick negative activities of howling in the House, or sometimes resisting when the chair tells you point of order, you persist on remaining upstanding and gesturing menacingly at others. That is not how you grow in politics. I'm not pointing out at any member. I'm just saying that I expect nothing less. To whom more is given, much more is expected. Thank you. Next order. Sorry.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Gishimo, you can come now. So after Gishimo's notice of motion, you go to number 8, then you come to statements.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Committee of the Delegated Registration on its consideration of the privilege.
Whatever they want. Yet, here was a very peaceful part of Kenya, where a foreign force, and a friendly one at that, which was here under an agreement, a defense agreement, would more or less be out of control and conduct some brutal activities without any repercussions or consequences whatsoever. The British troops in Kenya, as this report indicates, have often behaved as a band of outlaws and bandits operating in what seems like a disorderly and unregulated territory with total impunity, rather than a disciplined armed force of a civilized nation. They operate out of control in all the incidents that we were able to investigate, and that's why we are calling for a review of our relationship, a review of the agreement, a tightening of the agreement, and also a review to insert the key elements that are missing from this agreement, of which they have not been able to include, as has been agreed by this Parliament when we reviewed and approved.
Give him a minute. Conclude.
In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, we urgently seek justice for the lives lost, the environmental degradation and damage. We also need to have real accountability. But more importantly, we need to know the status of the agreement between Kenya and the United Kingdom, because the current agreement has lapsed. Since the UK had declined to accept the Kenyan Parliament's amendment of the defense agreement, the question is, under which arrangement does Batuk operate on Kenyan territory today without an agreement approved by the Kenyan Parliament as required by our Constitution? That is the big question this House needs to address and take action on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Brother Buyu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Are you sure, the Honorable Hassan, that Parliament had taken a positive, or rather what you want to say, a serious Kenyan position any time in the past on this matter? Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, no relationship is cast in stone. Whatever relationship it is, no relationship is cast in stone, even if it's diplomatic relations. Mr. Speaker, our Constitution is very, very clear that regardless of your race, regardless of any discipline or your class, social class that you come from, the Constitution is very, very clear that we are all equal, and it is the responsibility of the government to protect all its citizens, regardless of who you are. Mr. Speaker, a former member spoke about Wanjiru having been a prostitute or somebody having been referred to as a prostitute. If that prostitute is Kenyan, that Kenyan must be protected. If that prostitute is Kenyan, that prostitute or Kenyan must be protected, fully protected under the laws of this country. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter what goes with that relationship. If it's abusive, and it can be reviewed and must be reviewed. Mr. Speaker, there is no way we are going to turn a blind eye to atrocities that have been mentioned by that committee just because of the aid or because of purported relationship that we have with some superpower. Mr. Speaker, this is where we must stand up as Kenyans if we really mean to protect Kenyans. Just recently, we had a politician come up and say that some sections of this country cannot benefit from the proceeds and development of this country because they are not shareholders. The president came up and Kenyans came out blazing to say that every Kenyan, regardless of which side you voted, is Kenyan and must partake of everything that is in Kenya. What is different now? Mr. Speaker, I support the committee. I support the report, and I thank the committee for giving us a very detailed report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
The Honorable MP for Mbere. The new MP for Mbere, followed by the MP for Nandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. I rise to support the report in its entirety, and this is because I have encountered cases of rape, maiming, discrimination, abuse of all sorts. And I must say, standing here, a Kenyan man, a student, a Kenyan young man student in the UK, has a consensual sex with a British girl. They break up, the girl reports it as rape, and even without investigation, the Kenyan young man is deported. Why do we have double standards? The member cited laws signed in 1961. Who signed on behalf of Kenya? So we cannot stand here and purport to defend something that involves rape, murder, maiming of Kenyan citizens. We are not second class, and there is no first class human being. These people must be brought to justice and in our soil. We need them to be put in Kenyan jails, and they are not above the law. So I support this report, and I insist it is long overdue. It is actually long overdue because we have been reading about these cases for very long now, and I thank the committee for taking its time investigating, and let these soldiers not purport to have not been given time to respond. They got time to respond. They treat us as second-class citizens. It is post-independence. We are a sovereign state. I support the report.
The Honorable MP for Nandi. They don't treat you as second-class citizens because they're not citizens of this country, but as second-class human beings.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the committee for this very detailed report, a report that has actually painted a very deeply disturbing picture of the situation in Batuk or in the general areas of Nanyuki. Honorable Speaker, this is not a question of the dignity of us as the people of Kenya. It is also speaking a lot of things into the integrity of our sovereignty as a country and Honorable Speaker, the credibility of the partnerships that we have been able to enter through the years. And Honorable Speaker, the issues that have been raised are not minor breaches, Honorable Speaker. They are abuses that have affected families and people. And Honorable Speaker, I would have loved to be very diplomatic in this House today and on this report. But Honorable Speaker, the tribe that I belong to, which is woman, Honorable Speaker, is the most affected tribe in this particular report. Honorable Speaker, tell me how a woman who has mothered a appointee child explains to them who their father is. Tell me, Honorable Speaker, how that woman who lives in Nanyuki and the areas of Batug explains to the son or the daughter that comes back telling the parents that the children in the playground have asked him or her why they have that particular color, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is unacceptable, and as a country, Honorable Speaker, we must support and stand with the report that has been given to us by the committee. Honorable Speaker, we cannot continue to say that we must stand and keep quiet because of the benefits. Honorable Speaker, as a Kenyan and as Kenyans in this country, we must accept to die on our feet as opposed to dying on our knees. Part of the dying on our knees, Honorable Speaker, is accepting this abusive, utterly abusive relationship that we have in the name of a partnership. Honorable Speaker, for the record, this has changed from a partnership to some sort of, I don't know what to call it, or some occupying presence, because it looks like the British Army or whatever it is that has camped in Batug is calling the shots. Honorable Speaker, as a Kenyan, when we were dealing with GBV, when we were dealing with girls dying and being killed, Honorable Speaker, we have all stood up and we did not care where the perpetrator comes from. Honorable Speaker, we cannot then apply double standards today because this is someone who comes from British. Honorable Speaker, the rules and the British must come to an end. And part of the remainders of things that the British did to us is exactly what Batug is perpetrating. And Honorable Speaker, it must come to an end. I want to appreciate the committee because they have been bold enough, Honorable Speaker. They have been bold enough to speak on behalf of the people that live around the area. The people who are living in very hazardous environments because of the pollution and the things that the people there are releasing to the environment. On behalf of the women who cannot even go and report it to anyone else, Honorable Speaker, because they will be victimized instead of being given solutions. So I want to appreciate the committee for standing on behalf of Kenyans and for representing Kenyans and for going out there to listen to the people. These are the stories, Honorable Speaker, that must be told in broad daylight so that then, Honorable Speaker, we can make an informed decision. And Honorable Speaker, we have no problem with the diplomatic relationships. We will really like to keep them. But what is the essence of a good diplomatic relationship when we are dying? What happens to the relationship when we are no longer breathing? Honorable Speaker, we must put the people of Kenya first, then we can consider the diplomatic relationships so that it can foster the livelihoods of Kenyans, not the other way around. If the partnership is abusive, the people will die and therefore there will be no partnership. I support this report, Honorable Speaker.
I give the opportunity now to the most senior veteran military man in this House, none other than Colonel Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, thank you for indulging me.
Honorable members, the way you think that we should not be despised by British or the whites in the West, every member is an equal order, an equal member of this House. Nobody should complain that an opportunity is being given to another member of Parliament. That is the basic rule you get. Proceed, Honorable Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't know why members are complaining. I am almost like an authority on this particular matter.
Absolutely.
I trained in the UK, and I am very versed with Batug training in Kenya. They are offered the best training facility in the world. Unfettered, total access, without any limitation by any Kenyan authority. And that particular fact should not be abused by anybody. Honorable Speaker, the historical relationship between Kenya and the UK is one thing, but troops behaving badly is another thing altogether. And we cannot say that this will affect our diplomatic relationship. Not at all. The forces that train in Kenya, whether Americans, British, or others, are visiting forces which deploy liaison officers so that any visiting forces do not do anything wrong and towards the municipal laws of this country. And Speaker, what I read about this report by committee of the Kenya National Assembly, it is the issue of responsibility, accountability, transparency, rule of law, respect for the municipal laws of this country. What the committee is asking is telling Batuk, do exactly what you do in your own country. And all kinds of lethal ammunition, if they don't explode, the basic tenets in military training and doctrine is go and look for those unexploded ammunition and dispose them off. On the Kenyan rangelands that they are less populated, there are very few people, but that does not give anybody the opportunity not to dispose of those lethal ammunition that are likely to injure the civilians who are likely to stray on those rangelands with their livestock. Honorable Speaker, Defense Cooperation Agreement between Kenya and the UK must serve both in equal measure. That when you are going for equity, then you must come with clean hands. Yes, people can talk, but there are two important articles that even new members who are joining this House must learn. Article 95, that a matter of concern to the people, and Article 94, sub-article 5, nothing will have a force of law unless it is passed by this House. Honorable Speaker, my worry, and greatest one for that matter, the British have one of the best armies in the world that are very well trained, very well disciplined, very well commanded and managed, but people should not come to Kenya and do things which they don't do in their own country. For that reason, I think it doesn't affect any diplomatic relations between our two countries. But the commanders who bring their forces for training.
One more minute.
Thank you, Speaker. What I was saying is those commanders who will bring their forces for training in Kenya must take full responsibility, and that command responsibility will eliminate all these nuances that we are seeing, that there are soldiers who will kill civilians, who will carry out rape, or who will engage in sex with youngsters that they wouldn't be allowed to do in their own countries. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say no one should escape scrutiny, especially if that is breaking the law. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Also, you trained in the US, the same way, or the UK, the same way British soldiers are training in our country. You did not have any immunity against criminal activities. Maybe you should educate the members on that. Did you have any immunity? Give him the...
Mr. Speaker, I trained both in the UK and in the US. I trained in Pakistan, in Germany. And wherever you arrive in that country for training, you are taken through an induction. These are do's and don'ts, so that you stay within a straitjacket of the municipal laws of the host country. So that is why you will never go against the law. Yep. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough. You never know, maybe. Honorable Oundo, followed by Beatrice Elachi, and then followed by the MP from Turkana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have keenly listened to the experts in this field, Honorable Raso, the military gentleman, the Honorable Bashir. I have also listened to a diplomat who has had diplomacy, probably a student diplomacy. But Honorable Speaker, let me get to the point. I associate myself with the recommendations largely of the committee. Honorable Speaker, there's a historical aspect why Batuk are here. And the military gentlemen who are here will tell you the presence of Batuk, the presence of American Marines, and the presence of other foreign military units in this country probably has been a good deterrent from any of our rogue neighbors, probably had harbored any intention or an idea of invading or coming to stabilize Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I want us to draw parallel.
Stabilize or stabilize?
To stabilize Kenya.
Okay.
I want also, Honorable Speaker, to draw parallel on the war in Ukraine versus Russia at the moment. It just started because Ukraine had no formidable military ally that could assist them in the event of any invasion. And that's why you find Russia is very uncomfortable with Ukraine joining NATO. So the presence of the Batuk, the presence of other military units in this country is an advantage to some extent. But I also want to agree with the report that where a criminal offense has been committed, military personnel who come to train here are not accredited diplomats, so they do not have diplomatic immunity. Whenever a crime has been committed, Honorable Speaker, I totally agree with the recommendation that the laws of the country, or unless there's any other agreement between Kenya and the UK, those who commit crimes within the soils of Kenya should be tried here in Kenya for purpose so that they face the law as required here in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this matter has elicited a lot of attention and interest in the UK. BBC has reported about it, Sky News has reported about it, literally all the mainstream news outlets in the UK have reported about it. And they seem to agree that there should not be no immunity for those who commit crimes. So that's a settled matter. Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the numerous recommendations. There are just too many. You see, again, when the recommendations are just too many, it becomes difficult to get the best out of it. I would request the committee to go and concretize and make sure one of the best recommendations, one of the most important recommendations, is to have the new cooperation agreement signed as soon as practically possible. Because at the moment, nothing binds, nothing holds them anywhere. Finally, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, on the issue of civil matter, yes. I'm a man, and the Honorable Speaker allowed me now to talk as a man. On the matter of civil matter...
Proceed. You have always talked as a man. I
yes.
See you talk as a woman.
Hey, on a matter of civil matter, of child support, it's not a criminal matter. It's a personal matter between two consenting adults. Where there's a case of rape or defilement, that falls in the realm of the law. But the mere, just a second so that I drive this point. Just to conclude, the mere fact there's consensual agreement between a consenting adult and a consenting woman and a man, whatever comes was expected. So there must be an arrangement between the two of them to sort out their issues. You know, Honorable Speaker, even to go to court, to the child support department in this country, it's a lengthy and laborious process and doesn't guarantee success. So I just want to ask the ladies who are here also to educate our ladies in that area that as you engage, you know, there are consequences. The man can die, can disappear. We must learn to carry the burden. We must learn to be careful. Normally, Honorable Speaker, the joke used to be said, Honorable Speaker, a joke used to be said that when they were building the thicker highway, there were very many ladies who got children with the Chinese. And as typical, Chinese things don't last for long. The children used to die as soon as they were born because Chinese things don't last for long. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the report.
Order, honorable members. The honorable Mili is on a point of order. You don't shout point of order from behind the chair. What's your point of order?
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I'm multitasking. Mr. Speaker, at the age of technology, I'm both in class and in parliament. But I couldn't fail but listen to Honorable Undo, implying that in a situation where a child is born, we blame the women because they were responsible. Mr. Speaker, you will blame both the man and the woman because there is nothing that is dormant. Both sides are active. But you can never blame a child.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You can never blame a child. So do not purport, do not imagine, do not even try. Where two adults are involved, the resultant defect is a child. Both the Convention on the Rights of the Child and our Constitution protects that child. So is he in order to go against the Constitution?
He is not in order, basically. The responsibility has always got to be there. Honorable members, the Honorable Murugara, I think for the benefit of the House, for those of you who are not around that time, and I'm glad Murugara was around that time, there was a mutiny in 1964. And the mutiny was done by the King's African Rifles, 11th Battalion. And that one was put down by the Johnnies. They were called the Johnnies, the British forces who were here. And I think from then on, completely established here. So there is although they did not, I didn't see them in action on the coup attempt in '82. But I have no doubt in my mind if the coup had begun to succeed, they would have gone into action. So, but anyway, but that's just for the benefit. Yes, Murugara.
Thank you very much. I wasn't there in 1964, 100%. I don't been born. However, exactly that is the reason.
Yes.
The 1964 mutiny in Lanette and the guild was actually put down by the Johnnies.
Yes.
And it's how they got themselves that agreement to remain here, to protect their interest, not anything to do with Kenya. It's purely to protect the British interest here, and they continue to do it unabated. 1982, we never saw them.
Fair enough.
And therefore...
Honorable Elachi, that 11th KIA was, 11th Kenya Rifles was disbanded. Was dissolved and disbanded, yes. Yes, Honorable Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support this report. The report comes when we...
I'm sure Aden Daud was around that time. I have no doubt in my mind. Proceed.
The report comes when, Mr. Speaker, we are also within the 16 days of activism. Therefore, it becomes a very sad report, even as we support. And it also brings back the memories of the late Agnes Wanjiru of 2012. Mr. Speaker, if you remember this case.
Yes.
Where this Kenyan girl was found in a septic tank in Nanyuki, And you remember the investigations resurfaced in 2021, where we thought now at that time the former soldier who is James Robert Pakis would today have faced his trial. So may her soul rest in peace with many others who have gone through rape and many other inhuman human rights sufferings that they've gone through. Mr. Speaker, I think as Parliament, one of the things we know and we will appreciate that, yes, this is a sensitive matter. It's a sensitive matter in terms of our justice for local citizens. It is a sensitive matter for our environmental protection. It is a sensitive matter, Mr. Speaker, on foreign military presence, which I know we have signed bilaterals and we have agreed on it. But then that does not take away the sovereignty of a country and the rules and regulations of a country and the constitution of a country, that indeed when you step into Kenya, you will not tell me the Batuk where they are in Nanyuki is now Britain. No. This is one thing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must take very, very seriously. That indeed when they are here and they are training, just like any other army will go to train across the world, they would respect and adhere to the rules and environmental rules of a country and all the laws, Mr. Speaker. And so therefore, it is important for us to accept that as Parliament, what we are trying to say, that we have realized there is a serious imbalance bilateral negotiation. And that in this report, while we are saying we need to see justice and accountability to those who are victims, we are saying there is need of fair balance, sovereignty, and cooperation through disciplined diplomacy. That's what we are asking. And we are saying if there's extradition protocol, then it is important for you to produce the accused when requested. That it is important to cooperate fully in investigations, and more importantly, to allow joint access to evidence. That's what we are saying as Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, the other thing we are saying, there must be mandatory disclosure. For example, names of the personnel of Batuk, those who come in, it's important for the country, so that even when we are going through all this, we understand how we engage. Mr. Speaker, there must be deployment and rotation logs if required in investigation. We can't run away from that. And provide legal assistance for survivors. We are saying come up with a fund for both Kenya and UK, co-funded. But then let us have an engagement that is very clear. And so, Mr. Speaker, even as this report goes, I think the most important thing we can say is let us have a conversation between our brothers in Britain who are within their parliament and us, and tell them this is our report. You've seen how His Excellency President Trump has done in the US. I mean, what is it wrong with us for Kenya? And so anyone fearing to talk about this in Kenya at this time, Mr. Speaker, will be doing a very bad injustice to our people. And so even as we table the report, we are saying the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must, with Parliament, see how we work around this matter. I beg to support.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Joseph Emade Namwar, the MP for Turkana Central.
Honorable Namwar, I know you, but you have all.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, I want from the onset to support the report, Honorable Speaker. When you visit Laikipia and Nanyuki, Speaker, what comes into your sight is children who are white, maybe we can call them pointees, but, Honorable Speaker, burning charcoal and some riding motorbikes. You know what it means to have a white skill in such kind of an environment. And when these children are asked about their fathers, they even don't know. Honorable Speaker, I rise to say that United Nations is one thing that happened in the world. And when United Nations provides for governing principles and requests that when we are doing our business, we must obey all the human rights. Honorable Speaker, human rights are not negotiable. They are not. We cannot say it is a diplomacy issue. We cannot say we have to postpone. Honorable Speaker, my take from this report is if the committee, and I want to thank them for coming up with this report.
We want to finish this.
Honorable Speaker, if they can be able to look at the DCA or the status of forces arrangements, either Kenya or UK, and be able to see if this can accommodate investigation or if this can be able to be prosecuted in any court of law in the world. Honorable Speaker, what is happening is damaging, very much damaging. When it talks about land, talks about the environment, talks about rape, lack of compensation of those who are victims. Honorable Speaker, when we come back here as Parliament, we have something like a bilateral function with the armed forces or the defense forces, Honorable Speaker. This House approves an emergency, approves war. The National Security Council can recommend, but it must come here, including the President. And therefore, when we are talking about all this that is happening, Honorable Speaker, we must say that there is a time when a country becomes greater than an individual. Whichever the status, whether you are white, whether you are black, Honorable Speaker, country becomes more greater than an individual, Honorable Speaker. And so when we are putting this across, Honorable Speaker, we want to say that individuals must take responsibility of what they do, not as a country, UK or Kenya. Honorable Speaker, just here in Ethiopia, I happened to talk to a friend who worked there, and it's a time when, I don't know, he messed up in Ethiopia and got a lady and impregnated a lady. The government of Ethiopia waited until this man was boarding a plane back to Kenya. And then he was brought a bill to pay. And the bill contained the upkeep of the child and even the damage he had done to the mother. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say...
What's your point of order, Honorable Mwanje?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 95.
Yeah.
Honorable Speaker, I believe we've contributed enough to this motion, and I think it's time that we invite the mover to reply after the Honorable Member completes his...
Honorable Speaker, we must bring each and every UK Army officer into record as an individual, not as a country. And there is no person who is superior when it comes to human rights. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
I now put the question that the mover be called upon to reply. As many of you say aye, as many of you say nay, the ayes have it. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to appreciate the many members who have actually debated robustly on this matter. And I just want to make just a clarification that this report in no way is undiplomatic, uncooperative on the part of Kenya and United Kingdom. Remember, we have a number of agreements with the UK government, and that is all being touched on this report. This is a report specifically touching on Batuk, which is just one facet of our engagement with the United Kingdom. So all we are saying is that when you look at this report, it tells Batuk, please be responsible, be accountable, and ensure that your activities and your operations are in line with the laws of the Republic of Kenya. And that's how it is. So if you look at the recommendations that we have made, it's something that they can use it to ensure that they improve on their operations and their activities while operating here in Kenya. And two, the DCA is still in limbo. So all we ask is that it should be fast-tracked so that we have a legal basis for these troops to operate in Kenya. Otherwise, our cooperation, our diplomatic status with the United Kingdom of Kenya is still intact, and nothing has been dented by this report. I beg to reply.
Honorable members. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, Batuk, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 25th of November, the year 2025. Will as many have to say aye? Aye. As many contrary say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10. Inquiry into the proposed sale of shares in East African Portland Cement PLC.
Do we have the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives here? The chair. You're there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Proceed. You move that motion.
It had already been moved, this discussion.
Oh, it's a discussion?
Yes.
So who was on the floor at the time? I don't see that being. Put the question.
Yeah.
It has not been moved. Order, honorable members. You don't run the House with me. When a matter has been moved, it indicates on the order paper. And now I'm informed that it has not been moved, so you move it. You move it, you get somebody to second you, and then we open it for discussion, and the rest goes on the way it's normally supposed to.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on the inquiry into proposed sale of shares held by Holcim Group in East African Portland Cement, EABC PLC, to Kalahari Cement Limited, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, November 12, 2025. Honorable Speaker, the committee held several meetings in the course of this inquiry, and it had and received submissions from East African Portland Cement, Competition Authority of Kenya, Capital Markets Authority, National Treasury in its capacity as a major shareholder in EABC, the Office of the Attorney General as the principal legal advisor to the government, and the principal secretary for industries. Mr. Speaker, sir, the inquiry was occasioned by heightened public interest and the potential implications of proposed sale of corporate governance, market competition, public investment, and national industrial policy. The committee examined in particular the potential shift in corporate control arising from Kalahari Cement Limited's proposed acquisition of a combined 41.7% shareholding in East African Portland Cement through the purchase of shares held by Holcim subsidiary, namely Associated International Cement Limited and Cemendia Holding AG. The committee also interrogated the proposed sale price of 27 shillings 30 cents per share, a valuation substantially below the prevailing market price, averaging at Kenya shillings 58 per share during the period under review. The report is structured as follows for the benefit of members perusing through. 1, terms of reference. Number 2, submissions from witnesses. Number 3, findings. Number 4, committee observations and recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee made the following key findings. The committee finds that the proposed transaction and the approvals process was subjected to multi-layered regulations under the Capital Markets Act, Cap 485A, the Competition Act, Cap 504, the Companies Act, Cap 486, and the Mining Act, Cap 306, which seek to protect investors, ensure fair competition, and safeguard national mining resources. Number 2, the transaction therefore required approvals or exemptions from the Capital Markets Authority, CMA, including approvals under Section 31(1)(a) of the Capital Markets Act and the relevant subsidiary legislation. The Competition Authority of Kenya, CAK, and the Cabinet Secretary for Mining and sections under Section 51(6) and 7 of the Mining Act for the transfer of controlling interest in licenses. CAK did not conduct a merger review as provided for under Section 42 to 47 of the Competition Act, having concluded and the transaction was non-notifiable. Consequently, no public interest or competition assessment was undertaken. Kalahari Cement Limited, through its combined interest in Bamburi Cement, would command a substantial share of Kenya cement production and distribution capacity. This could lead to horizontal coordination and collective dominance where two or more undertakings acting in concert control the market, even if the neither individual holds over 50% plus market share. CAK has determined market concentration in cement sector or risk of dominance in production, distribution, and pricing. The transaction price of Kenya shillings 27.3 cents per share rests substantially below the prevailing NSC market price of approximately Kenya shillings 58.75 cents, suggesting possible undervaluation and erosion of shareholder value, including the government's own equity stake. No independent valuation report on fairness opinion has been furnished to justify the transaction price, raising questions about the methodology used to determine share value and rationale for the sale. Reliance on the principle of willing buyer, willing seller is inadequate where a listed company of strategic national importance is concerned, as public interest extends beyond the immediate parties to encompass capital market integrity, investor confidence, and protection of public assets. Number 7, the National Treasury and NSSF, as major shareholders, have a fiduciary duty to safeguard public investment and pensioners' money by ensuring that any future capital restructuring or disposal or sale of asset, e.g. land, is properly disclosed and approved in accordance with Section 158 and 238 of the Companies Act. Whereas the entry of a long-term strategic investor may be beneficial to the company by injecting capital and providing technical support and operational efficiency. The absence of a publicly disclosed strategic plan from Kalahari Limited raises uncertainty over the employment stability, operational strategy, and alignment with the national industrial policy. The absence of public interest review by CAK and Section 42 to 47 of the Competition Act means that no safeguards or conditions have been imposed to protect public interest, consumer welfare, and leaving potential risks of market concentration. Dominance and pricing control in the cement sector, unmitigated. East African Portland Cement PLC has expressed desire to buy back the shares proposed to be sold in the interest of company and for the broader public. Buyback of company shares is possibly under Section 447 of the Companies Act 2015, which provides that a company limited by shares may purchase its own shares out of distributable profits or through a fresh issue of shares, subject to shareholder approval by special resolution and compliance with the disclosure, approval, and solvency requirements prescribed by the Act. The committee noted that existing legal framework governing off-market share transfers, takeovers, and mergers of public listed companies under the Capital Market Act and the Capital Markets Takeover and Mergers Regulation 2002 lacks explicit provisions for exercise of preemptive rights by existing shareholders in private sale transactions or competition hiding or transparent sale mechanisms where significant shareholding in listed public companies is being disposed outside the exchange. From the submissions proposing EAPC buybacks its shares, the committee observed that in respect to the strategic economic benefits, the proposed transaction supports the objectives set out under Section 6 of the Privatization Act number 18 of 2025. It will broaden ownership in the economy by encouraging private investments, and under Section 6C of the Privatization Act, it will also enhance and develop the capital markets under Section 6F of the Privatization Act through new public shareholding and increased market activities. Committee recommendations. Mr. Speaker, the committee, having considered the submissions made by the shareholders and the evidence presented during its inquiry into the proposed sale of shares held by Holcim Limited in East African